Hi guys, Trebor7 here, back with part 2 of the Egely Wheel review. I have put in about 30 days of messing with this thing and read the very informative and helpful 80 some odd page pamphlet, and I took a look at your comments and questions, and we're going to address all of the above and more in part 2. So first we're going to do just a little dynamics test, and first up, we will do magnetism. So I've just got a little magnet, small but powerful magnet, just to show you that it is a magnet. I used the old safety pin there. And we're just going to hold her up to the wheel and see what kind of interaction we can get using a magnet, which is pretty minimal considering it's not metal. However, the little hub in the center is metal. I found that out. And then next we'll try some heat. The old Bic lighter there, and try not to melt the spokes. But as you can see, heat doesn't do much to it either. So certainly not the heat from your hand. You know, the guy that designed it specialized in the transferring of energy. So I'm sure he kept that in mind. And of course, air will influence it. You see how it kind of jitters and bounces, and it even has sort of like almost like a shock to it. So you can see it bouncing. And blowing on it, of course, is going to also do the same kind of jittery reaction. But of course, wind will affect it. That's why they suggest that you do it someplace where there's not a draft. Alright, and then next up we're going to try the old both hands. That was something they suggested in the book. And actually, I found it quite counterproductive for quite a while. It was a good challenge. It kept me busy for, I don't know, I didn't log how many days, but over a week I messed with several different, ways of moving it. And the both hands thing was just, it seemed like I was fighting against myself. I feel like the energy comes from the center or lower portion of my palm. And my right hand, of course, wants it to go right, and my left hand wants it to go left. So it seemed like it was a struggle using both hands. And honestly, since you can't really see exactly what's happening, I wonder if I wasn't just shutting down one hand and letting the other one do the best it could. I never really felt like I got that circuit going, where I'm using the energy of, you'd think you use one hand, you get it so fast. You use two hands, you should be able to double that. But that's certainly not the experience that I had. And I'm not done with it. I'm going to continue messing with this thing, but I'm showing you the best I had on film at the moment. So anyway, using two hands was one of the suggestions, and they also suggested you could use multiple people, which I haven't had a chance to try that. I've had a couple more people, my neighbor, for one, put their hand around it, knowing nothing about telekinesis. Just told him it's a vitality meter. It tells you, if you're alive or not. And he put his hand around it, and it got up around 6, without trying or anything. So I think it works on more than just one level. It can work on just a biofeedback level, or if you know what you're doing, you can use telekinesis. There you go. There's my max speed. Looks like, 19 or so? Both hands. And then also, as suggested in the book, we're going to try a little no hands, which, not the funnest in the world and fairly self-explanatory. So I'm going to go ahead. There's a lot of information in this book. I'm going to share a little bit of that with you real quick. It says that the two applications are, 1, to measure life force energy, or chi, and 2, psychokinetic stamina. I like the way they worded that. It's important that the device be exactly flat at room temperature with no draft, and they suggest dim lighting. The directions are: place your hand around the meter, close your fingers, and concentrate. Should start turning with around 30-60 seconds. Usually turns towards your hand, but not always. Alternatively, you can use two hands, just your fingertips, no hands, or multiple people. Which I think that multiple people thing would be interesting. I haven't had a chance to try that yet. I didn't have very good luck with the fingertips. I don't think I have any footage of that. It suggests that you practice changing directions, and it states that your current physical, mental, and emotional state will determine the speed of the spin, which that's kind of true. I think it works on three, mind, body, and spirit. It suggests that you experiment with different times, locations, and moods, which I also recommend that. A lot of the things that apply to telekinesis apply to this. Best results are typically achieved in between complete relaxation and intense focus, so just kind of chill. Highest readings are typically in the morning and early afternoon. They suggest you use a meditative state of mind or think of something pleasant like your favorite song or activity. And things like illness, stress, and poor diet will affect the readings, as well as external things like weather and stuff, so keep that in mind. All right, we're going to switch back to raw audio for the biofeedback portion. Okay, so here's another application. I found that if I just place my left hand near the machine and engage my left brain, i.e. talking, reading, just thinking in general, and do not pay any attention to the wheel whatsoever, it'll give you a basic, just straight biofeedback. You can see it kind of stays pretty steady, and if I can keep my mind off the wheel, that's about where it stays. So there you go. Okay, last and least, in my opinion, under glass, no hands. That wasn't suggested in the book for good reason. It's a biofeedback machine, and you separate the body from the machine. Not a very wise move. But that was one of the comments, hey, if it's really PK, you should be able to do it under glass, no hands, no problem. That sounds good from somebody who doesn't do PK, because it's empathy, mindset, and energy. And energy needs a medium to flow through. So as soon as you put it in a container, you're only working with a small portion of the puzzle. But nonetheless, I'm doing this to appease them, and we'll go back to what the wonderful book has to say. It warns not to overdo it. Keep your measurements short, like 10 to 15 minutes, no more than 3 sessions per day. The number ratings are like 0 to 2 is very low, and 6 is average, and 13 to 23 is outstanding, and 24 being exceptional. This meter is intended to help us improve our quality of life, and I truly think that is the intention. Our positive life changes like healthy diet and restful sleep and proper exercise and meditation and all these things will be reflected in our vitality measurements. So it's a great tool to keep us on the toes or get us in the right direction. They have chapters to help us do that as well, touching on things such as sleep, breathing exercises, posture, sports, vitamins, sun exposure, massage, trace elements, detoxing, structured water, healing, dowsing, psychokinesis. they've really, the book is a huge part of the purchase. It's a really good book. And as far as the history of the wheel, it was invented in 1994 by George Egely, PhD mechanic engineer who specialized in heat and energy transfers, and a Dr. Magdolna. And they went through a long, research and development process and did a lot of experimenting and prototypes, and they share some of the experiences people had with the wheel and whatnot. It also has a little chart where you can log your reading, and about the price. This is not coming off of some factory, machine in China with using mass parts, These are custom-made parts. They're made one at a time. They're assembled by hand, calibrated to perfection, and each wheel is personally checked by Dr. Egely himself. So it's not, you're paying for quality here. And the special axle and the needle alone are like $20 a piece, so they're not cheap parts, And this company's been selling from anywhere from a handful to 100 a month for like 30 years now. So, and to a very small segment of interest too, I might add, those people who want to monitor health, healing of the mind, body, and spirit, and people who want to measure and improve their PK skills. So, now granted, I got mine free, but if they called today and said you had to return it or buy it, I would definitely buy it. whether it costs $100 or $300. I love this darn thing. And I want to support companies that cater to our community. They are few and far between. But as far as the actual price goes, the Egely Wheel, the custom one like you're seeing here with the box and the book and the whole 9 yards, is $279. So I think that's fair price. Oh, anyway, there's your no hands stuff for you. And then the vitality indicator, which doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles, is $89. Or you can save yourself $69 if you want both of them. So that's a pretty good deal. I don't think you'll find any prices lower. There's a link below where you can shop or learn more. And check out my personal beginner user tips page that they put on their site for me. And keep in mind when you order one, you're not only just getting an awesome vitality meter or PK training tool, but you'll also be supporting a small reputable company that truly cares about folks like us, And plus, of course, I'll get a small commission in return for the time and efforts I've spent testing, reviewing, and promoting the amazing Egely Wheel, which I do think it's an amazing product. And I hope you'll buy one and you'll benefit from it just like I have been. All right, I hope you found this video enlightening and or entertaining, and I appreciate you watching. This is Trebor7. Peace.